Hi dear fans, friends and subscribers. Pretty short of time today, so I'm just going through a real skimmer of a cricket happening show here. Just to tell you that as far as this cricket happening show is concerned, well, we are looking at the West Indies versus South Africa match that just finished right now. And as I said, South Africa had to salvage something, and well, they definitely did salvage something here, as South Africa put up a very big score on the board of 195 for 3, and was led by Morne, the opener, who went on to make his maiden T20 century, and that too he made it of just 67 balls, and finally was unbeaten on 114 with 70 balls, with 9 fours and 7 sixes to take the man of the match award. And for West Indies, unfortunately, Chris Gayle was not there in the team. Probably they rested him due to trying some new faces. And well, Chris Gayle was not there, and you can look at what difference Chris Gayle makes to the team, as West Indies folded up for 126, and thus South Africa definitely salvaged something here by winning the final one-day international, even though it's not of much consequence, because West Indies have already won the T20 series 2-1. South Africa won the match at the Kingsmead Durban ground by 69 runs. So I'll be talking about that match. And then today, Sri Lanka and New Zealand will be clashing in the second one-day international. The first one-day international, as you know, New Zealand won it. So Sri Lanka and New Zealand will be clashing in the second match, which is going to be played at Seddon Park in Hamilton. And also the tour match which started between England, who are actually on the tour of Australia and New Zealand. And well, England was actually playing their first match, and what a victory they had. In fact, it was a curtain raiser. Normally, as you know, it's a customary in Australia that they play the Prime Minister's 11, and the Prime Minister's 11 was played in England. Went on to a very huge score of 391 for 6 of their 50 overs. And look at who was the real architect there. Ian Bell was given the license to open by Morgan, the new captain, and what a knock he played. He played a really stupendous knock. Ian Bell scoring 187 runs of 145 balls with 24s and 3 sixes. It was a very high scoring game, and in reply the Prime Minister's 11 went on to make 331 all out. They really gave a good chase, thanks to Glenn Maxwell, who has been struggling in the Australian domestic cricket for quite some time, but today he came up trumps, smashing 136 of 89 balls with 24s and 2 sixes, but that was still not enough to take the Prime Minister's 11 to victory, and in the end it was England who prevailed over the Prime Minister's 11 by 60 runs. So just talking about it, so first let's go on to this match between South Africa and West Indies. It was South Africa who actually took first strike, because West Indies won the toss, and for them they had nothing to lose. They put in the South Africans, and the South Africans openers did a wonderful job. It was Morne was stroking the ball perfectly and sweetly, and he was hitting some very good sixes. And Bjorn Hendricks, the opener, was giving him company, and both of them pasted the West Indian attack to the tune of 111 runs in 12.4 overs. And things were going on pretty well at that stage, and then suddenly we saw that there was a bit of a struggle, and Dwayne Bravo came into the attack, and also when the spinners were bowling, there was a semblance of a respectability, one could say, but Morne and Hendricks had to slow down a bit during stages, and once the score reached 111, Bjorn Hendricks was the first to go. He was victim of Poland for 42 of 32 balls, 5 fours and 1 six. David Wiese was promoted in the batting order. David Wiese went on to score 21 of 16 balls with 2 fours. It was very good bowling from Dwayne Bravo at that stage, who was bowling some perfect Yorkers, and you know why we are missing Dwayne Bravo in the World Cup once again. Really, Rosu was out for a duck, trying to accelerate the scoring. He was out for a duck of the very first delivery that he faced, and Dumini, coming into the South African team after making a comeback after a long time, smacked the very first delivery that he received from Dwayne Bravo over for 6, and that was typical. It was not typical of Dumini, but Dumini did it because it was the final over, and finally South Africa, Morne the opener, carried his bat through the innings. Not only that, he also had his maiden T20 century, and what a knock that was from Morne. He was playing some beautiful pickup shots. He was pretty good on the offside as well as the onside, and he was really flicking them very well, and he really played a very valiant part. In the sense, he played a very brave knock of an unbeaten 114 with just 70 deliveries with 9 fours and 7 sixes, which enabled South Africa to take the total to 195 for 3 of their 20 overs. The West Indian bowler came in for some tap there. Cotswell 4 overs, 1 for 33. Brathwaite was probably experimented, but he proved pretty costly. His 3 overs went for 42. Andre Russell bowled 2 overs for 24. Ashley Nurse only bowled 2 overs, got taken for 22. Dwayne Bravo, I thought he bowled well. He bowled some perfect yorkers. 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 38 for him. Marlon Samuels, 3 overs, no maiden, none for 22. Kieron Pollard bowled 2 overs for 13. As far as the West Indies target is concerned, it was 196, but the biggest draw card and the person who has been the nemesis for South Africa in this T20 series, Chris Gayle, was not available. In the sense, Chris Gayle was not selected. Probably they wanted to rest him and they wanted to give the chances to other people, because West Indies have already won the T20 series, and well, West Indies really didn't have it all the way at all today, because there was none other than Lendl Simmons, who really played a very aggressive knock. He opened with Dwayne Smith and started carting the bowlers to all parts of the ground, scoring a wonderful 49 of 31 balls with 6 fours and 2 sixes, and that was the only good thing that happened to West Indies in the score of 126 all out. As Dwayne Smith was first to go, bowled by Arun Fungi, the left-arm spinner, for 5 of 10 balls. Samuels was, and then Wiese. Once Morne Van Wyk did it with the bat with the maiden one-day international century, it was the turn of David Wiese, who actually had done a splendid job in the previous Monday International, I thought, but today he really turned it around, bowling superbly. Military medium pies, 4 overs, no maiden, 23 runs. He picked up his maiden 5-wicket haul in T20 cricket, and anyone who picks up 5 wickets in T20 should definitely be considered a very good bowler. And Wiese, I thought, really did all the damage to the West Indies innings. Simmons was out 49, Samuels made 6, Andre Fletcher was out for 2, Bravo made only 12, Kieron Pollard was still there, but still he couldn't, because he couldn't get the much needed support that he needed from the lower order, as the West Indies innings totally caved up and they were all out for 126. 12 to Kieron Pollard was not out on 20 of 23 balls without a boundary and a 6. As Andre Russell was out for 12, Sammy went for 8, Brathwaite was out for 1, Nurse was out for 3, and finally the West Indies were all out for 126, and South Africa winning the match by 69 runs and salvaging something in the T20 series, as West Indies won the series 2-1. Kyle Abbott, 3 overs, none for 14, bowled well. Longay, 226, also bowled excellently. Parnell, 3 overs, 233. Fungiso bowled did his job, 4 overs, 1 for 23. Wiese, as I said, picked up his maiden 5-wicket haul in T20 cricket, 4 overs, no maiden, 23 runs and 5 wickets. Probably that was the case because the West Indies batsmen were really going for runs because they wanted to win, but they were throwing the bats around as they had already won the series. But in the end, it was South Africa who prevailed. Domini bowled 1 over for 6 runs. David is 4 overs, no maiden, 23 runs and 5 wickets. And West Indies won the 3-match series 2-1. So now now the one-day international series will be starting between West Indies and South Africa. That's the next assignment that West Indies and South Africa will be fighting it out. Okay, now let's go on to just not really doing a preview, just doing a brief update here that today New Zealand and Sri Lanka are going to be clashing in the second one-day international at Seddon Park in Hamilton, which is more like a sort of a spin-friendly pitch. And New Zealand have already won up in the series, well, Sri Lanka, the onus will be on Sri Lanka to actually win this match. So I think we should have a good match on hand here. And let's talk about the 2 match that happened. As I said, England 11 was playing against the Prime Minister's 11 in Australia at the Manuka Oval in Canberra as is customary, and England racked up 391 for 6. What an opening start. It was an electric start which was given. It was given by Moeen Ali, who has just become very common nowadays, Moeen Ali opening the innings, and Ian Bell was given the license by Morgan to open the innings, and Ian Bell went on to really amass runs, and he amassed runs pretty quickly. I mean, one would never see Ian Bell having a score line of 187 runs of 145 balls with 24s and 3 sixes. Taylor contributed 71 of 77 balls with 4 fours. Root making 13, Butler making 25, and as far as the Prime Minister's 11 bowlers were concerned, Cummins 6 overs, 1 for 52 was very costly. Bendorf 4 for 79 picked up the wickets. McIntyre for 1 wicket each to Moody and Maxwell. And as I said, Prime Minister's 11 chased it well, but they were led by Glenn Maxwell, who was coming out of some atrocious form in the domestic tourneys here, but here he smashed 136 of 89 deliveries with 24s and 2 sixes. And other than that, Chris Rogers at the top made 20 of 28 balls, Bancroft making 15, 16 to Hanscom, Doran making 37, Condon 13, and then 27 from Siaka, Cummins, and Bendoff made 14, and 331 all out as far as the Prime Minister's 11 is concerned. For England, Stuart Broad stood among the wickets there, 8.1 overs, no maiden, 4 for 40, and 2 wickets apiece to Jordan and Treadwell, and 1 wicket apiece to Vokes and Moeen Ali. Ian Bell was named player of the match. Well, dear fans and subscribers, this is a very, very quick cricket show today due to shortage of time. Thanks for your understanding and thanks for cooperating with me today. This is your host Ram signing off for the day. Thank you.